Any idea where we are?
According to the map, we're at the resupply point.
Yes, I'm starving.
Go Army, beat Navy.
Did you hear that? Your phone works out here?
No, it doesn't.
What does it say?
It doesn't matter.
It's here!
roll.
Good morning, Sergeant Major.
How do you know what kind of goddamn day it is?
Beautiful morning, Sergeant Major.
Are you a fucking weatherman now?
You're listening to Sergeant's Time on WTF Nation Radio.
Broadcasting live from the Functional Veteran Center of Excellence. Yeah, this nuts. Broadcasting live from the Functional Veteran Center of Excellence deep in the mountain compound. Also have me in the gunner seat, Spanky.
That's me.
No, man. Tonight's drink is like I said, it's Tecate Day, so órale pues. Entonces pues nosotros estamos tomando Tecate. I have a specific way of making some Tecate. It's like old, like an old school way of making it. Is where you get some lemons and you get some. No, they did not pay me. I get some lemons and some salt, and there were some skeptics out there one time that decided to try it. So some lemons and some little bit of salt, and somebody from a friend of mine from Kansas City made these etched glasses that say Mos Eisley Cantina. No droids allowed, of course. We don't serve them kind. And so toast. I was like,
here, I did it with my water. Sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say down your water.
Here.
No Tecate. But anyways, yeah, so that's right, Baconator. That's right. I'm everywhere, bro. I'm everywhere. Anyways, today we're going to have a good show. We have Joe Buccino's coming back to talk about this Dragon's Lair innovation challenge that has had. It's pretty, I'm telling you what, like I said, I'm not plugging it because I was part of it, but I'm plugging it because I was part of it. I've assisted several Dragon's Lair on camera and behind the scenes. There was a Dragon's Lair competition. We'll get into that stuff later about other stuff, but this is the first time it's been won by somebody in the Air Force.
Hey, they could have great ideas.
They could have great ideas. There's a lot of things. I'm telling you, if there were some other services doing this stuff, this is awesome. I can't wait to see, of course, what Joe's going to talk about. But anyway, so he's going to be on here. He is a spokesperson / PAO / Innovation Challenge dude for 18th Airborne Corps. Known them for a while. There was like Back and Bragg. Yeah, Back and Bragg. Back and Bragg.
Oh,
there we
can't even get through the first few minutes.
Yeah, can't even get, exactly. But anyways, so again, we're excited. First off, though, we have some news that we want to talk about. There has been some headway, and it's been announced that Sergeant First Class Alwyn Cash will finally be awarded thanks Pete. Finally be awarded the Medal of Honor in a ceremony to be announced yet, but it was hot. I guess a hot scoop. It was reported through several news outlets that him and as well as 3 other individuals will be awarded the Medal of Honor. But however, I think it's kind of cool that we had we finally have some headway on this, so we're looking forward to it. This was just released. Of course, Task and Purpose. They threw out a good article about it. I like their article's been pretty good. Which finally happening. This is from 2 Army sources that are close to the planning of it. If you gals already know that, if you don't know the story of Alwyn Cash, you just go ahead and just go on U.S. Army WTF Moments or WTF Nation Radio, and just doing the search Alwyn Cash, and you'll know that what we have had, many reports to include Nick Guy from the After Action Room. We've blasted this enough. We have thrown this enough information out there about it. All you got to do is just Googleize it. And everybody knows that, of course, Alwyn Cash died in a 2005 for sustaining injuries from pulling his soldiers out of a burning vehicle. He will receive the Medal of Honor with 2 other soldiers, Sergeant First Class Earl Pumley, a Green Beret who received a Silver Star in 2015, and Sergeant First Class Christopher Solis, an Army Ranger who was killed by small arms fire in Afghanistan. So they did not really, the White House didn't really throw a comment out yet. It was the Washington Post that first reported the news. Sergeant First Class Cash was approved to receive the Medal of Honor by the Department of Defense and the White House in December 2020, but the ceremony would be delayed until after the presidential inauguration. So we've been kind of waiting around for this, and you know how Colonel Buccino is. I'm gonna corner him about it.
Yeah,
of
course.
I'm gonna ask
Well,
him.
yeah, like it's a long time coming. He was awarded the Silver Star for these actions, but not even the recommender and people afterwards, like, this is Medal of Honor type actions. And
Right.
first it was a hurdle with the time limit, because there's time limits on awards, and then they finally passed the bill so the president could still award Cash the Medal of Honor. But then the bill got delayed because of judicial nominations, Supreme Court nominees, and
Right.
those people up in Washington, thought, okay, we got to do this. So they finally got the bill passed, and then that was right towards the end of former President Trump's administration, and then some stuff kind of happened in his administration.
There are some things that happen with some things.
About this, they were thinking about some
Right.
crazy guy in a moose hat or whatever it was, and all that. And
Don't get me
then,
started on that.
Course,
Don't
we
yeah.
got a new administration.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. The crazy dude in the moose hat. Yeah, like I'm supposed to feel sorry for that guy. But anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh yeah, and then of course we get a new administration. I am sure it may not have been like day one type of things that any president needs to do, but yes, they are finally getting around to this.
Scott brings up a good point that this took almost a career, an entire career length to do this. Casey Pistorius said that I was stationed at Camp Cash back in 08-09, could not have been more honored. So this whole thing, of course, pay attention to all the streams on U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. We will be posting anything live that happens about the event, any interviews, anything. Of course, will be posted for all 3 individuals. So that's kind of cool. I'm glad that's finally out. So we're still waiting for an official White House announcement. So I'm a bug. I'm a bug General. I almost call him General Buccino. He's almost.
Go ahead and promote him.
Yeah, promote him. Screw it. Why not? What's the worst they're gonna do? But anyways, So I'm excited. That's a. Yeah.
Yes, and then after that, I'm also excited to see them put his name in the new memorial park. Sorry, my brain is not working. Fort Stewart, where they left the blank space just for his name.
Right, they did. Yeah, he's. I think he's gonna talk about that too.
Okay.
I was just like, hey. Matter of fact, I'll throw the graphic up right there. And there you see on the. I'm sorry, we're doing. Yes, we are doing slides and shows and cartoons and pics. That's the only way to get the story out. But you're talking about Memorial Park, Martin Garden.
Yes.
And that's going to be obviously it's been left blank because once he's been awarded, then it's going to be. So I'm excited. Rock of the Marne. I don't normally do the Rock of the Marne thingy, whatever. But I think that's awesome. So definitely looking forward.
I do
to
too.
It. Yeah, I just no words to say. You know what I mean? What can you say? You're just kind of like you're overwhelmed to hear that this is finally happening. I mean, the events. How this is not a movie though, dude. This is movie. This is movie event stuff. You know what I mean? This is big. If you were to hear the story and then see it translated on screen or something like that, I've talked to some of my Hollywood friends about it, and they were like, nobody would believe that this would have happened. So to me, I just think that's awesome already. So. But anyways,
and it's not saying that it'll never be a movie. It's just now, his name will be even more out there. So who knows? Maybe we will see the story.
Yeah, true. Okay, so other news today. So of course we have that. We have our guest. We were talking a little about Owen Cash. That was the first big news. We had to break that real quick because there were some. So we're all again keeping our ear to the ground. WTF Nation Radio, U.S. Army WTF Moments. Pay attention to the to the streams and the sites and the feeds and the tweets and all that stuff, and you'll see that. You'll see that get passed out. But anyways, there's another issue that came out that not another issue. There was an unresolved issue with Purple Hearts. And the Army has approved 31 Purple Hearts for soldiers that were injured in a January 2020 attack when Iran launched rockets to Al-Assad. Remember that? Remember when they did
yes, and it was in, like I said, January 2020. And we're seeing a little, it didn't take a whole career's worth of time, but we're seeing like a, trend here, like is timely awards, like, why is it such an issue? That's what I want to know.
That's a good point. That's a good. We already got.
Well,
go ahead.
15 years is definitely too long for Medal of Honor, but at least that's like the Purple Heart. It is cut and dry what qualifies for one. There's no room for interpretation there. So please go on. Why did this take so long?
I do. This is not a Monday edition, but I'll just say that some individual. It's almost like when individuals talk about the what is considered a deployment, what is considered a non-deployment, what's considered a combat injury or not a combat injury. Even though when you got guys that are you got veterans that are given some of their benefits for their disabilities, some of it's considered combat connected or not. Right. You would not be considered combat connected. There was a comment that was posted that it makes sense, is that now we need to find a way to account for thousands of IED attacks that soldiers were lucky enough to walk away from, but receive no accommodations and whatever, and continued to fight, by the way, which is a good point. How many times are we running around Irish or around MSR Tampa and you got hit by an IED and didn't happen, but it rattled you up a little bit, but it didn't get reported, it just said, hey, IED strike or whatever. That's a really good point.
Well, no, and it's sad that they're not reported because that was how often they were happening. So if, there was relatively little damage, and it's like, just carry on, just mark it on like a duty log maybe at the most. Right,
that's what happened. Just shake it off, drink water, walk it off.
Mm-hmm. Change your socks.
You'll be all right. Don't worry about it. You'll be good to go. But yeah, so what else do we miss? Not miss, but what happened during the week? I said, what did we miss?
It's been such a busy week.
It has been.
I've been trying to keep up with the news, and it's like impossible.
We had the anniversary 80 years ago, where we were attacked by Japan in Pearl Harbor to kick off to have us. I guess you would say have us now declare war on Japan to kick off World War II.
Right, they were like, you can't have World War without America in here. Let's pull them in.
Yeah, but there was, if you guys paid attention to the WTF Nation Radio page and the U.S. Army WTF Moments page, you saw, and to include other veteran service organizations like War Horses for Veterans, 18th Airborne Corps, 25th ID, 3rd Infantry Division, all the large formations posted their commemorative and anniversary posts, which were pretty good. There's some tidbits that I didn't know about. Survivors, what they did, pilots, leaving the ground to engage the Japanese attack. So again, there was some good stuff. There was some good posts. There
was. I even saw on I think it was the Today Show. It was something that I watched on YouTube about like. I think I knew this, but it just, it's been so long that it didn't really click about, and I can't remember his name, but he was a black man, and black men weren't allowed to, fulfill combat roles at the time, but, he was on the ship, as a sailor, and went up and took over the gun and started trying to shoot planes out of the sky. I think I had knew that at one point, but it just completely forgot, and just came back on with Today's Show's coverage.
You're talking about Dory Miller.
That's it.
Yeah, Dory Miller. Yeah, he was a Navy cook or something like that, and
yes, he was a cook.
and manned a machine gun, got to the top of the deck and manned the machine gun, and was able to shoot down several fighters that, so that was incredible. I mean, that is, that's I thought that was, that's some heroic stuff, man. It's just when you think about it, you're like, oof, man. Being involved in that, it's almost like it was, the 9/11 of their time. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it made me think, it's like, I was personnel for quite a million years, it seems like. And we were in the field one time.
You and Morgan have some history together, which I'm coming to find out, and I didn't know that. So there you go. So continue.
All right, so it was me, I'm S1 person, and our finance guy, that worked in S1. So it's the two of us. We're both sergeant first classes at the time, because this was a senior leaders FTX. They only brought the senior leaders out to the field, right? So we're out there on our little guard posts and stuff, and my finance buddy, he fell asleep. It's the middle of the night. I'm awake. He's sleeping. We were swapping on and off. So our sergeant major comes up and starts asking all these questions. And it's in the middle of the night. I'm tired. I just looked at her. I'm like, look, sergeant major, if it comes down to me, and I don't want to say his name, but me and him out here, defending us from North Korea or whatever, we done lost the motherfucking war. We really have. When you got your S1 and COCs up here.
I don't know, man, but when you think about it, though, Dory Miller was a cook. The Battle of Mogadishu, there were some cooks involved too. So it was like a lot of individuals, even in Iraq and Afghanistan, running routes and stuff like that, going to just do normal resupply and logistics. There was some support personnel that had to had exchange rounds. Had to.
Oh yeah, see, and that would be it. Like the exchanging round part is not the issue. Like we're all trained to shoot. It's like, but you want to remember, you mean to remember all of these terms and try to sound smart about sectors of fire and all this. No, you just shoot the target. That's what I know, and I can hit it too.
Baconator says cooks know how guts work. That's one thing. Some people you don't piss off. Could you imagine? Just you're sitting there talking about a cook's chow, and then next thing you know, you send him on a patrol or something like that. He's pretty pissed.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, so what was the video? That was from the 4th PSYOP group, Go Army Beat Navy. That was a video done by the members of the Psychological Operations Regiment. Yeah, I'm partial. So what? It was a funny video. It's been passing the realm. If you didn't catch it at the beginning of the podcast or the stream, it'll be broadcasted again. It'll be post up again. For tonight's credits, so it'll be posted for you guys if you didn't see it, or you can go to their Facebook page, 4th PSYOP group, 4th Psychological Operations Group _Airborne, and you can see their stuff. So it was a really good video, really good. Go Army, beat Navy.
When is that game?
This
I
weekend.
thought it was last weekend.
This weekend.
So I was even kind
this
of
weekend.
All right, got it. See?
No, the last weekend game drama was with the Apache flying really low, or the aircraft from the 101st flying really low. That was the last. That was last weekend's game drama. That was last weekend's game drama. So it was not.
It's always got to be something. Something.
I hope they got the right goat. But yeah, so it'll be posted again for you guys to see if you missed it, and no sweat. I'm more happy to post that video. It's an awesome video. It's pretty funny. Go Army, be Navy. What's that noise? And the leaflets come. And you see the zip zap. You see the ghost zip zap. It was daddy. You see the daddy on there. Yes, Big Daddy says zip zap. That's what I'm talking about. Love the PSYOP regiment, but it was just a good video. I should play. I could play. If I could play it all the time, it would be nothing but that video until freaking Buccino comes on.
Right.
And our friends say, "Did you see this?" And they're like, "Oh, that's pretty funny." Oh, wait a minute. What? Who did that? And so, embrace the ghost. But anyhow.
I mean, yes, there really just has been so much that's gone on this week. Even the stories I've read, I was like, oh, I forgot, I forgot what happened.
Right. Okay, so here's another...
there was one other big thing I was trying to remember.
Which is you're trying to find. Go ahead. I think I know what you're talking about.
The app?
Yes, the app.
Yes.
The new app. Okay, so I'm going to say this right now. Do it. There you go in Palpatine's voice. Do it. Every single video will be a PSYOP video. I can do voices, yes. What was I going to say? So look,
no, you can do the voices. I cannot.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. I am physically not equipped when it comes to baby stuff. I am not qualified to speak on or equipped to discuss the planning stuff. You know what I mean? The physical. That's not my lane. We could talk. We talk PSYOP. We talk marketing. We talk information operations. You know, we talk social media exploitation. We can talk comms, public affairs. We could talk interagency stuff. I can help you out. But when you start talking about babies or having babies or being pregnant with babies, of excellence, I can't speak of that. That's not my lane.
Yes, it's the center of excellence that pushes these babies out.
It's so much center of fucking excellence that everyone's trying to get some excellence. Who doesn't want some excellence? Did we just of excellence something that was
we excellence
some
rebranded some excellence.
We rebranded some excellence with some woo woo woo. So if you want some, who doesn't want that excellence, right? I digress. However, I'm not qualified to talk about that. As a man, I can't say, yeah, women, you better do this or you better do that. I can't do that. That's not baby stuff. I'm sorry, Spanky. That's all you. You got.
All right.
You have the con.
Okay, so this story came out, and it is want to avoid pregnancy on active duty? There's an app for that. Okay, so. That is the siren song of the 21st century. And the U.S. military is certainly hoping that's the case for service members looking to avoid unexpected pregnancies. Women in the military have a high rate of unintended pregnancies, which is an issue both personally and with respect to the warfighting mission, according to a study in the latest issue of Military Medicine. Comprehensive education about access to counseling for the full range of contraceptives have been identified as gaps in provision of the highest quality health care for servicewomen. All right, so the Uniformed Services, University of Health Sciences, Defense Health Agency, that's a lot of health,
yeah, that's what I'm saying,
and the
man.
University of California developed a mobile app called Decide Plus Be Ready, which is meant to offer family planning options to servicewomen to include everything from education to birth control. All right. I don't have to read the whole story, but
it's posted on U.S. Army. I mean, on the WTF Nation Radio Facebook page. It's a story that's posted now. So here's my thing: is it helpful? I don't know, that whole kind of messing with. And I'll say y'all's because I'm speaking to women, and this y'all. I'm saying this. Is it helpful? Is it helpful to have something that I don't know? I understand what they're trying to do, but I'm asking you as a woman, Spanky.
Yes.
Do you think sometimes it's a little bit too intrusive sometimes when it comes to something like that to try to assist, help you or not help you, or is it an actual help? Does it really help?
All right. The concept behind it, yes, education and learning about different kinds of birth control and everything. To me, it seemed a little condescending. We know how babies are made. We know how to prevent babies from being made. All right, I get that. I also had, an unattended pregnancy while I was in the military. I forgot my birth control pills, went to the field, and that's how I have a 17-year-old daughter now. But. So it's not like I didn't know what I was supposed to do.
Right, exactly.
And no, was not planning on having a baby at that time, but I did. So I get where they're coming from. It really just sounds preachy. Don't get pregnant on active duty. It really does. That's the way it sounds to me. And I get it. So many women literally plan their pregnancies around different schools they have to go to and everything else. So it's not we're all just trying to take care of a kid for 30 years because I don't think they get done at 18 anymore.
Right. Exactly.
So I do get the wanting to educate young women about birth control and everything. But everybody that comes in the military is already an adult. I'm not saying they all know about birth control, but I just find it a little, I don't know, like you really there. I mean, and they even mentioned that there was already a ton of apps out there about family planning and everything else. Like if you're trying to get pregnant, it's actually, I swear, for a lot of military women, it's harder. Like, I need to get pregnant in these next 3 months, or else I have to wait another 18, or else it's going to mess up my career.
Right,
So,
right. Yeah. Again, I've had female soldiers, women soldiers, female soldiers, whatever the proper vernacular is, whatever. I know some people don't like to be called female soldiers, some people like the women, and all that stuff. But I will say that I've had soldiers that are equipped to bear children. How about that?
There you go.
and I've never. It would be like, hey, I got to go do well, baby, or I got to go get ready to go because I think I'm pregnant, or I need to go do whatever. And it's always been to me like, okay, cool, Roger that. 3 bags full. Go handle your business. I never thought that there was some planning or some type of there's an app for that. I would just be like kind of awkward as a leader to kind of say, hey, Special Spanky, yeah, what's going on with this? Oh yeah, so it's time to go to the field, and do you have did you got an app? Did you download the app? You know what I mean? And you'd be and you would look at me like,
because I did tell all of my soldiers after the fact, like, don't forget to bring birth control pills, like that's part of your packing list, like, or whatever,
Right.
So they didn't have the same issue I did,
Right.
Badly timed pregnancy for my career at the time.
Well, I just think that, I mean, like you were saying, you feel that it's condescending, a little condescending, even though
I do, and I just think, like I said, women are women. They're not girls when they join the Army, and I don't know. I just do. I think that's something, it's not a bad idea. I don't want to say that. It's not a bad idea. But again, there's already, if you search family planning in the App Store, you're going to find 50 apps on the first page. So I don't really understand why the Army felt the need to, or the military felt the need to just make their own. Like, family planning doesn't change.
I was about to say
exactly.
You're not gonna. You can't. This isn't an FM or AT. You know what I mean? You can't do this on a train schedule. I mean, I understand. You get. I get it, but I don't know. I feel as a male leader, as a man, telling a woman soldier, hey, make sure you get on an app. Get on that app so that way you don't get knocked up while you're doing whatever. And
no, we've already seen how that goes. Don't tell your soldiers they have to get an app.
Right, yeah, exactly. Oh no, but you even said it yourself. You'd look at me like, did you just really say that for something? Did you just really tell me? Did you just really tell Special Spanky to download an app to make sure I don't get knocked up for family planning or something like that? You know what I mean? I feel like you're hovering over soldiers. It's bad enough that there's leaders out there that feel like they have to hover soldiers over everything, anyways. But I just couldn't. Why specific? I get the assistance. I get what they want, what they're trying to do. But it's just really, dude. It's just really freaking. I would feel leery. I don't know. I'd probably pass. I'd probably tell my women soldiers to go. Hey, go to WTF Nation Radio. Ice and Spanky are putting out stuff about pregnant soldiers and pregnancy and family planning. But like you said, that's how I thought it would be. It's kind of like, oh man, family planning stuff or family health. It's really kind of, I don't know. And
when I look at it again, I'm like thinking, I may be giving all young soldiers too much credit that they do know all about family planning and all about birth control. So, I mean, I've had to basically tell soldiers that they need to shower more than once a week.
That's true.
So I guess
that's true. I mean, think about it too. When you say that, when you tell a soldier that he has to shower, he or she has to shower because their stank rank is inside the jock, or you see a soldier.
Or you have to wash your clothes too.
You gotta perform personal hygiene.
Yeah, I guess when I start looking at it like that, no, probably not all women know about birth control and family planning and everything when they come in.
Right.
I guess I'm just looking at it as, I knew. I knew.
Right.
I still messed it up. But
I know some of the younger soldiers get all will get the ass by saying, no, I need this, and other other young soldiers would be like, get away from my life, get out of my phone.
Right.
I don't need you, I don't need you to do that stuff. But I just really freaking feel that's just, again, it just places me as a man that's not equipped to discuss, would you like to have some family planning?
Yes, but you know who is equipped to discuss it? The doctors.
Yes, and that's another thing too. That's between you and your doc. If you're telling me, hey, Sergeant, I got to do this. I got, you're Special Spanky, and I'm First Sergeant Ice, and I'm like, hey, I got to go to this appointment. I got to do this. It's not my. Go do your stuff. Go do your appointment. Go handle whatever. Obviously, if you're telling me already that you have an OBGYN appointment or you have a well baby appointment, that's obvious. The reason why is because more than likely, you got to do baby stuff. But again, I just feel like, telling women soldiers that, which again, there were probably some women soldiers that were involved in doing this.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And with that being said, on the officer side, it is like much more crucial for them to make certain bench points.
Yes, that's true.
Like,
you're right.
For me, if I don't go to WLC this month and I gotta wait a year, that might hold me back a little, but it's not like holding me back against all of my peers.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
And the same like with SLC and ALC, we have a hard enough time to get into data as it is. It's like, oh, okay, I got to wait 6 more months because I just had a baby. It's fine. It really is. But, officers, they get behind their year group. It's not fine. So I can definitely see that too, but again, I would hope that even young lieutenants at least have a clue. They're a little bit older than, the kids we have coming in right out of high school. So I don't know, but yeah, family planning is important. It is. It really is. Because then you have all these guys saying, oh, well, she just got ready to get out of deployment. Oh. Yeah, I know.
I hate that, man.
I do too.
A lot of it's not even is a basis and it's not even the basis in fact on a lot of it too. Some of it's just circumstantial. I've known, well, you and I have, we talked about this before. You and I have known that we've had women deployed
on November 21st, 2003.
We've had women. I've known women pull jump master duties or pull jump duties or something like that, and they didn't know they were pregnant for a little bit because for some it takes a while for them to show or even they could tell or whatever, and they're just like thinking, oh, I guess I'm feeling a little queasy today or something like that. But again, those are from experiences that I got from them. I don't know. The helicopter leader stuff. But you're right.
Yeah, and then you have soldiers that are like, one of my soldiers who, like I said, I got pregnant in November 2003. My unit deployed in March of 2004. One of my soldiers went on that deployment, and she literally must have gotten pregnant. She was married and everything, like right before she left, but she didn't tell anybody until 6 months in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was hiding it. She wanted that re-enlistment bonus tax-free, too, so I'm not mad at her. Work the system.
That little one probably got more combat time than most babies in the nursery. You know what I mean?
Yeah, babies. Like I said, she was 6 months pregnant before she told anybody, and she wasn't showing yet or anything.
Yeah, little baby inside the little thingy there, little incubator, calling everybody a pogue because they didn't deploy or something like that.
Right. He's coming in with a combat stripe.
He's coming in with a combat stripe, a combat patch.
Yes.
I can just imagine that.
What are you talking about? I was in Iraq in 2004.
Yeah, exactly. What? You were what? Yeah, man. I was in, I was in Baghdad. You got a little. You're just barely born, kid. How could you have already been deployed?
Right.
Telling everybody to get their expert soldier badge. But anyways, yeah. So again. I know you wanted to talk about that topic because to me, I just think that it's
like I said, I'm not really mad at it. It's just I think it's an oversaturated market or something that should be between a couple that's planning and their doctor.
Right.
I guess that's me.
Right. Yeah.
So,
you're right.
But it's a tool. They can use the tool or not. So it's cool. Just don't try to force anybody to do it.
Right. Exactly. Of course, every time I say the ESB, you got to have Josiah jump in there. Expert action badge. I wonder if I still have that old stinger that I did for the me and Baby Ice did the expert action badge.
Oh, you have to. I'm sure.
I think I do. I got to look for it. But I can't remember when it was or it went out or something like that. I think we just need to do another one because it was expert. What was it? Expert action badge, and now it's an expert soldier badge. Because so I think we just need. I think me and Baby Ice need to do another one. Except I think me and him need to be like in it, like in a video with the song. You know what I mean? To kind of have the. Because I think that's I think it'd be a little change.
Make it app for that.
Yeah, make it app for that. Yeah, I don't want to jump on a bad app joke, but. Chelsea said that it's up to the courts to accept it in the trimester, and I only know this because of my work inside the officer education system. No, but you're right, Spanky. There's officers that have to hit a specific bracket and a specific amount time frame to do their PME, their professional military education. So
right. And like I said, for me, I didn't get promoted to Sergeant First Class till I've been in 13 years. So 13, 14. Yeah, 14 years.
Right.
Somewhere around there. So it's no big deal. It's like, and I might get behind some of my peers. I just have new peers now. That's you just get new peers.
Everyone's a peer. What I mean? Everyone can be a peer now. Everyone can be.
Yeah.
Now with the new promotion systems and stuff like that, you don't even know who your peer is anymore. That whole time of when'd you get promoted, blah blah blah. That's kind of like all out the window what it used to be. Obviously, of course, data rank and getting promoted, but again, exactly. Baby has a combat stripe at 6 months. All right, so the last thing we're going to talk about right quick before we go on break, which was brought up, is I guess women are not going to be in the draft. Is that
see? I haven't heard anything new about this today. Did this just happen today? Because I miss things. I do.
Well, I mean, let me see. Women. Let me see. Matter of fact. Somebody sent me a link, and I gotta dig for it again. Women in a draft. So the House passed the $768 billion defense bill Tuesday night that would boost the service member pay by 2.7%, an overhaul of the military justice system, and update diversity training requirements, and a provision to include women in the draft was dropped. So
interesting.
So there you go. So
now I need to go see what all they snuck in this.
Right.
2-point-something pay raise. Okay.
2.7 pay raise. Yeah, exactly.
That's not enough for as much as inflation has gone up, but okay. I really, just speaking of that real quick, really want to see what they do with BAH rates, because it has gotten stupid. At least in this area, the clean Fort Hood area has seen over the last year probably house prices, rent prices have gone through the roof. They really have. I'll just use this as an example. The house across the street from me used to rent it for about $1,200 a month, and it's now renting for $2,000.
Jesus.
So yeah. And that's the BAH rates. The value of my house has gone up about $70,000. So, like I said, it's because Austin is everybody's getting priced out of Austin, and so they keep moving further out, and now it's hit clean, along with a housing shortage too. So BAH rates really need to jump here, or when soldiers start renewing their leases, they're not going to be able to afford it. So, like I said, that 2.3% just reminded me of that. And I know this area is probably not unique with that, but like I said, we do have that unique, just being so close to Austin, that everybody from Austin is starting to move here because they can't afford to live in Austin no more.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, they rather commute.
I see. I was seeing some of the properties looking for houses and stuff like that, and there was guys with these homeowners with these hovels, torn down, run down, needed some replacement, fixer uppers and all that. And you know how I always make that joke about no low ballers. I know what I have. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's exactly what it was. It literally was that way. It was freaking. I'm like, you want to get this house? Blah blah. I'm like, yeah, let me check it out and all that. And the next thing you know, I see all the what they're it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that. It looks like it needs a roof replaced and all this stuff. And they're asking an exorbitant amount of cash for it. I'm like, dude. What? That's like that's going rate. I hate that term. You know what I mean? It's almost like guys who have vehicles that are rotting inside their front lawns, and then they say, no low ballers. I know what I have because it's rare or something like that, or it was in a movie or something like that, and they felt like they can,
Right. And even for instance, every house in my neighborhood is, if it goes on the market, it's sold within days. I wish I wish I was in the position to be able to sell right now because this is not my forever home.
Right.
But
right.
I wish I was. I'm not. I was a senior in high school. My next door neighbor, he bought his house back in 2008, the same time I did. He retired a few years ago too, and their house sold they put a sign up and it was down the next day. It sold that quick.
Wow.
So, and like I said, I think they sold theirs for $190, and our houses were worth $120 about 8 years ago. So so it's getting crazy expensive here. So like I said, I really want to see what they do with the VH rates more so than the pay raise.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll have a lot of homeless four-foot soldiers trying to move into the
really. Exactly. What was on housing? Same here, 150%. And the BAH has gone up in DC for $3K. $3K. Could you imagine getting the BAH for God, dude?
Yeah.
Damn, dude. That's. And see now here. Okay, now let's let's look at this. How do I say this?
I wouldn't want to live in an area that has $3K for BAH because it's just going to make me mad.
Well, no, let's think about this too. Is we always talk.
I'm making and
right,
not
right,
making,
right. Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. You have soldiers that live at the barracks, and you want to get them out of the barracks. I think the barracks is a racket, anyways. We already talked about that.
Yes.
So I think trying to get soldiers out of the barracks, and then now you're going to give them all this money, to find a place, and they can't find a place because private SMEDLAP or special SMEDLAP. Soldiers coming in nowadays are a little bit older, a little bit smarter than what they used to. Of course, you still have the young ones coming in, but you have ones that are coming in that have degrees or something like that, and they're specialists. And you're going to tell somebody who's been living on their own for a while,
yes,
no, you need to stay in the barracks that's falling apart, it's got mold and stuff like that. And
the thing that drives me even more nuts about that, or especially our young NCOs. The sergeants that have to live on post in one post and can't live on post in another post. You know what I mean? For instance, I have a friend that was stationed here. They kicked all the NCOs out of their barracks, giving them BAH. They PCS. Nope, you got to move in the barracks. Now they have furniture.
Right.
And everything else they got to deal with. So you either got to sell all that for a really big loss or pay for storage or come out of pocket to, live in your own apartment.
Right.
So I really do think that if NCO, especially because this is usually, the young junior NCOs.
Right.
If they get a certificate of non-availability at one post, then that should just be no, you don't ever have to move back in the barracks, if you PCS. I think it should be some kind of grandfather. I mean, you guys, you can choose to. Some of them may rather live in the barracks. I don't know any, but they might. You know what grinds my gears?
Exactly that. I was just reading that too. You know what grinds my gears is when you're trying to live in the barracks and you're in the barracks and you're trying to live in the barracks. And you're trying to live in the barracks.
And you're right. It does depend on the garrison command, and it depends on how much barrack space they have, and this. I know I was a specialist when I got out the barracks before even I got married because we had no room, and I'm just okay, I'll go. Give me my $350 a month BAH, whatever it was. It wasn't much, but it was enough for me to get out.
Exactly. Thank you. Somebody just sent me. Hey, email me that, cause I'll play that. I'll play that old classic. So I just saw the expert action badge clip in there. Can I download this thing? Let me see if I can download this thing. Because
I figured that's what that was, but I can't.
Yeah, hang on here.
Well.
Your weapon.
Yep, it sure is. It's the expert action badge clip there. I don't know what happened to my clip there. I thought I got. I guess. Thank you, Cos. Can you email that to me? Email me that MP3, and I'll post it tonight. After the show, and I'll have the expert action badge. Hang on, or we could just listen to it right now. If you guys don't remember the expert action badge skit that I did with myself and Baby Ice, since we'll do this before we break off, and so as a matter of fact, I'll play it right now on air while we're talking, so that way we can just laugh and smile and giggle and all that. So hang on for a second. Here we go.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Hi, Lieutenant. How are you doing? Aw, did you find your land nav point, Lieutenant?
Good job, Lieutenant. You get a
Expert Action Badge.
put on your uniform right,
Expert Action Badge.
show up to work on time,
Expert Action Badge.
qualify on your weapon,
Expert Action Badge. Badge of Action.
find your guidon.
Expert Action Badge.
That's right. Just doing your noble warrior task and drills, you get a
Expert Action Badge.
Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots.
Shit in a bag, Pogue. Badge of Action.
The voice of... That's a classic.
It is.
Oh my God, that's a classic.
You're just a baby.
You're just a baby. Oh my God, I know, man. Now the kid now right now can probably tell you to go F off.
Yeah, yeah.
He could probably say something like that. Oh, dude, that's hilarious. Thanks, Kaz, for bringing that back, and thanks, of course, Josiah. There you go, Expert Action Badge.
Yeah, Baby Ice can probably like drive his own tank now.
Yeah, Baby Ice now is NCO realm now. He's not infant talking like a baby, flapping their gums on freaking social media. At least he knows what a range card is.
What's that?
No, you know what that is. Come on, it's that thing it's that funky little drawing that you were making fun of. You said, is that those? You call them tactical hieroglyphics or some shit, or you said something about that? Yeah,
something like that. Like I just hit the target. That's all I do.
Just
I can shoot and hit whatever it is I'm intending to hit.
Oh my God, that's classic. Yeah, so there you go, Kaz. Go ahead, email me that, man, so I can I'll upload it, and then I'll play that now, so that way it can piss off all the new generations, all the new lieutenants in the Army, because that was played, that was made years ago when that first that first came out. When that first talk about it, when it was called the Expert Action Badge. So again, that's years and years and years. So anywho, hey, we're gonna I think we're gonna take a break because I think Joe Buccino is gonna be running around. I don't know how many messages. Gotcha, man. I got it. Thanks. And then we'll get him on here to discuss the Dragon's Lair. Actually, the official name is the 18th Airborne Corps Innovation Challenge, and so he's gonna come on, shoot the breeze with us, and of course we'll be we'll talk about the rest of the stuff, and stay tuned for later on tonight after the show when we do housekeeping. The PSYOP Go Army Beat Navy and the Expert Action Badge will be played for everyone's return. So I can't wait to play that again. All right, so everyone refill your glasses. I haven't hardly drank any of my Tecate, and even though it's Tecate Day,
we've been running our mouth.
We've been running our mouth and shit, and I need to
a sip of water
I need to get a sip right quick. But anyways, refill your glasses, hit the head, smoke them if you got them, and we'll be right back. Shouts.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio. Shit in a bag, Pogue.
Take this photograph, tell me what it is to see. When you look at me, deep into the photography, I don't really need your sympathy, just tell me your thoughts. Have I got what they got, and is it a plot done for naught? Am I not like you, because I do what I do? Who knew that I could lose a few of you, cause I bleed blue? But it's true, I know, cause I see it every day as I work and I sleep the day away. Like you I have pain, and like you I have fear. Can I pay all of the bills and still make it through the year? Will I make it home alive? Should I pray to the sky every day and every night? Will I hold you by my side? But in the public eye, I don't even have a heart. A robot of the system moving only when I'm told to start. Rip apart my art, I'm strong like a flower blooming. You got it all wrong, I know. I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.
Call me a vet like a soldier. Green beret, 21 gun salute, don't wanna see today. In the constant war zone, in the home of the brave, where they hate the police until they saving the day. I got kids like you, a mortgage like you, so blue lives matter, and so does yours too. All this separation and divide, open your eyes. If you cut us all open, we the same. same inside. The only difference is I run to the gunfight. Give peace when it's chaos, when the people don't act right. But I'm under scrutiny for trying to protect me. You pull a pistol and I'm shooting for trying to contest me. I got a quick second to make a deadly decision. The media betrayed me like a kid for a living. Like I'm cold with no heart, a brain with no thoughts, a body with no feeling, a life with no cause.
Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. I'm damned if I do, and damned if I don't. It's like every single time I say what's on my mind, they go for my throat, they spew evil words. A few are absurd, always grinding, grinning, and killing my soul with these verbs. Hold me down, like I can't gasp for air. I'm closed inside of a box, like I'm inside Fort Knox. Every time that I'm there, I don't know why they think that I'm different from you. All that's true is I'm a like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.
The sirens are going off. Another rocket attack. I've got my boots and got my ammo in my 50-pound sack. Boys headed to war in this world unknown. The only peace of mind I've got are these letters from home. Another day attack. I've tried to talk and tell you about it, but it ain't the same. All these thoughts that run through my head, well, they can't be tamed. Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd be this far out here. We ain't far from Kandahar.
Wear a condom? We're in Fayetteville. No one gets STDs here.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And we're back. Man, hope you guys refilled your glasses, smoked your cigarettes, hit the head. Obviously a friend of WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments, Joe Buccino. Welcome, Joe. How you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. How are you? How you been, Ken?
Dude, you're like all nice, and look at you all snug. You got the Christmas scenery behind you and all that, and
yeah, yeah, we did it up pretty big this year.
Nice.
Look at this.
Look at. I'm about to say, dude, you're all the holiday cheer. And you know what? That's a good idea because I think I'm gonna do the same thing. I have a hologram fake fireplace I'm about ready to install behind me with a little Christmas tree, so that way, you know, next week everyone can see the Christmas spirit in the station in the bunker. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Anyways,
I can't see you at all. Am I supposed to see you, or does it matter?
Nah, it doesn't matter. The fans can see you. Do you
Okay.
want to see me? Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Or
no, I know what you look like. Can you see me?
Oh, everyone can see you. Everyone can see you. They're making compliments on your tree there. So yeah, we can all see you.
Yeah.
Everyone can see you.
Beautiful tree. Thanks.
Yeah. Exactly. So tell us what you've been up to, man.
Well, I don't know. I mean, nothing really changes too much in my life. I work in Fort Bragg. I work in the 18th Airborne, as you know, and trying to move and evolve the Dragon Slayer program. You and I talked on the phone a little bit about that today.
Yep.
We're, a lot of promotions. We have this promotional efforts on behalf of the organization, 18th Airborne. We're trying to, I guess, ingrain innovation, culture of innovation across the organization, moving out on really one of the big efforts, one of the big platforms for us is data analytics, machine learning, AI, and just trying to move out on those concepts across the organization. It's a massive unit, 92,000 people, and we have now 13 installations. The 4 major divisions, obviously 10th Mountain, 3rd Infantry Division, the 82nd, the 101st. So it's a big job in that sense, and trying to ingrain the notion of I think a lot of people think about modernization. We talk more about innovation. And for us, it's not just technology. It's not really a new bit of gear or a new process or program, but it's just about new ways of thinking. And so we're just trying to ingrain that. We're doing that. We have a podcast, 18th Airborne Corps Podcast. We release a new episode every Tuesday. And other than that, as you can see, I'm ready for the holidays. My house here, my family's ready for the holidays. We went all in. My daughter was back here for Thanksgiving, and her and her mommy, not really me, I didn't really help, but they, kind of went big on the holidays. So that's it for me, bro. What about you?
Well, new year. I mean, new stuff going on. We have new established technologies and stuff that we did at WTF Nation Radio. We now have a R&D section, and all the innovative stuff. Like I'm on camera. That was like a non-negotiable back in the day. Even when I was finally public, no one ever saw me on cams. And so I'm not saying that you had something to do with this, but I think a lot of our discussions got a lot of the things going for innovation for us, for podcasting and streaming. And it got, talking with, August Cole and the, the guys from Burning Book, just the whole method of AI, the whole stuff. We actually, we've innovated ourselves, with better equipment, with better, new location. Like I said, I'm gonna, if you're going to be on cams, you better have a studio. So now you can see something behind me, and you can see, the cams up and all that. So it's gonna grow. Obviously, COVID kind of knocked things out of the way, but everyone's going about. All of our hosts now are on cameras. They're using the latest in artificial intelligence for streaming. There is technology out there that does it, and it's great. Now we're flapping live on several platforms, and we're also, when we load up a podcast, you have 14 different podcasts loaded up, in different spots. We've already got our reach into Taiwan. So it's funny to kind of see, different languages being thrown in the chats, auto translated to English, of course, but it's pretty good. We've been surging forward. Some of I guess it's almost like practice what you preach. If we talk about innovation and we talk about how we're going to better the communications craft, I guess you'd say, because I'm still tied with you guys, and I still talk to you guys and all that. So I got to keep up with it. And you got Alex with you now, so I mean,
oh my God,
he's been rocking it.
Best, bro. We went here in 18th Airborne in terms of public affairs. We went from I don't know if you dealt too much with this guy, but I know you met him in person. It was Mike Noggs.
Yep.
Mike Noggle, and then you went from him. You're not going to do any better than that, but then you did just as good with Alex Lycia. So two awesome guys.
Yeah, we're always he loves it there. I mean, he's don't tell anybody, but he said he likes it there, so you'll be good.
He likes it here.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, I do got to say that I saw Spanky just had a picture with her name, some sort of like a screensaver with her name. She was not on camera, and I asked you if I could do that, and you said no.
Right, because
I think it's unfair. Why?
Because
why was she allowed to do that?
Because you're the guest, and Spanky's a host, and we've already discussed that. If she said herself that if she was on camera, she would be on camera, but she just said, "Give me a graphic." I'm like, okay, cool. So guests got to go on now. That's just the way it is. I mean, of course. I mean, I can't believe you. I can't believe you just drug Spanky into this fight. But go ahead. You do you.
Well, I asked if I could do that, and you said I couldn't do it.
Right, because
I'm insecure about my looks.
No, dude. I mean, come on. Your nose is not bigger than mine. I have a bigger nose, so I mean,
That's not true. No. That's not true.
I know what it's like to swim on your back, and people say shark. I know the feeling, bro. I know the feeling.
Yeah, it's been coming at me my whole life.
Don't worry, my nose doesn't come off with my glasses like other people's do. But anyways, dude, you're gonna be on camera, man. That's just the way it is. That was the deal. We're gonna put you on camera because everyone needs to see your face. Everyone needs to see who you're talking to. And you even said, "Hey, man, you need to be on camera." Matter of fact, you even asked me, "How come you're not on camera? How come you never get on camera? How come you're never on this?" So now I have to.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I asked that.
Yep, ages.
Yeah.
So, okay. You just had something big happen with Dragon's Lair that it was now opened. I mean, we talked a little bit about it, open to the services, but now you're having some other services actually win, right?
We did, yeah. We had an airman. Actually, I don't know if that's right. An airman, an Air Force officer, an Air Force lieutenant. who just won, a fella named Justin O'Brien. So yeah, maybe just to back up, do you think everybody knows what this is, or should I explain that? Dragon's Lair.
Yeah, go.
I think at this point everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody knows about Dragon's Lair. Everybody kind of knows
So
it's our what do we call it? A Shark Tank or something? It's our Shark.
It's like Shark Tank, right?
Yeah.
We obviously appropriated the Shark Tank format. And, well, shit, you were a panelist in episode 2, the second
right.
episode.
Yeah, I was a panelist for. No, I think it was 3. Was it 2 or 3?
It was 2.
It was 2.
It was the one where, Specialist Trevor.
Correct.
Specialist out of the 101st one for his forklift attack.
Exactly. I was the panelist for 2, and then one of your producers for 3, and I think one of your senior advisors or listed advisors for 4. So it's like
for 4.
The one where we did the crowdsourcing of the sexual assault, sexual harassment reporting. That was the one that I was part of. That was 3. Okay, so yeah, so it was 2, 3, and 4 is the one, and then you fired me. So I'm just kidding. and then we stopped. We you were doing other stuff with other services, so it would have been kind of productive to be in that one.
Yeah,
so.
well, so we brought in for this one. We brought in. We started receiving ideas from outside 18th Airborne Corps for episode 5, and then actually a lieutenant, really impressive lieutenant, a guy named Mahdi Al-Hassani, won for episode 5. So he's not in 18th Airborne Corps, he's in 25th Infantry Division, so now it's bigger than 18th Airborne, and there's a commitment from the 25th Infantry and the Army DAMO G3 Aviation. I still don't know what DAMO stands for. Army, the Pentagon Aviation. There was a commitment to implement his idea, which was it was a machine learning tool tied to the UH-60. So we decided to open it up beyond the Army to other services, and we just got a lot of submissions really from the Air Force. The Air Force is moving out on this kind of idea and the concept and individual airman innovation. So we got a lot of good ideas from them. We brought forward 7 innovators, 7 ideas, and we did this just this last Monday here in Fort Bragg, and we had a Marine lieutenant who presented an idea for effectively a share site, a share point for individual soldier service member turnover, maintaining documents. We had an Army reservist. We had a Navy lieutenant commander who I thought was going to win, who did not win. He had a kick-ass augmented reality program that allowed a ship commander to see the blind spots on a destroyer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was just, I think in the end, it was too tech-based, and the technology, I think, wasn't as developed as I thought it was. And it turned out in his presentation. He did well in his presentation. He didn't do as well in the back and forth question answer. We had a lot of folks from tech industry there that were panelists. So we had more than 15 panelists. So we had a big panel this time. Okay, and then we had Justin O'Brien, lieutenant out of the Air Force, who had a armor cooling vest. Effectively, what this is a device that goes inside your MOLLE. It goes in your Alice pack. It goes inside your vest, and it's a cooling system. So small device, less than 15 ounces, so it weighs less than one full M4 magazine. And he brought a prototype with him. He had it attached to a MOLLE vest.
Oh, wow.
And he had he had this thing really fully developed. He'd been working on it for more than a year in him and his team in his spare time. And when he saw the call for ideas for Dragon's Lair, he developed the prototype pretty quickly. And he had a really good presentation with it. It was interactive, and he brought forward panelists to put the vest on and wear the vest, and he attached a thermometer, and you could see, I've got the documents here, you could see in less than 1 minute the temperature of the vest decreased by 28 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
So so it solves the problem of overheating, heat injuries in training, in combat. It addresses that problem. The system, it's battery powered, but it operates, once charged, it operates for 14 consecutive hours. So he has some more to do with it, but bottom line is he's one of the people that won. 3 innovations won. He's one of them. Another one was a reservist, a reserve lieutenant, first lieutenant in California, who developed a machine learning tool to predict the floor plan, the interior floor plan of any building in the world. So it's a really complicated program he developed, and he's an interesting guy. He's a lieutenant in the reserves, but he's also does architecture as a civilian. So he has a background in architecture, and he took his background in architecture, and he also dabbles in AI and machine learning. So the program absorbs data, GeoInt data on a building, any building in the world, and it's pattern analysis of the cycle of life inside the building. It's the historic structures within the area. It's also it accounts for cultural differences, regional differences, building typologies, and scan. And so it absorbs as much data as you feed into it, and then it predicts an interior floor plan and what's actually occurring inside the building. How many people live in the building or work in the building, operate in the building, and what they're doing. And so obviously that can feed into a target, a strike package, a direct action strike, and that feeds into the targeting process, and then you refine the data over time. So
that's almost like some video games, Joe. There's some video games that do that. That's like but it's obviously programmed within the video game. It's never but that's just incredible. I got as you're talking, I got slides and pictures going up. So see that in a way you don't have to worry about your face being shown. But anyways, I have seen and because I game with gaming with the troops and then being involved with our own gamer kids. There are some video games out there that do that stuff, and like you were saying, I think that's awesome that you're able to get something like that, and literally, I mean, I couldn't even imagine what a commander on the ground getting something like that for conducting a rut or or doing mount. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. And so now his has the longest way to go. This would take more than a year for implementation, and as you know, the broader purpose of this is implementation, not just it's not just a contest. It is a contest. It's about winning. It's about presentation of the idea, and it is a little bit of show, a little bit of theater, but the broader purpose is implementing these ideas across the U.S. military. Okay, so that was the second one. The third one is a pair of soldiers, a grouping of soldiers, 3 soldiers, and we've never had that before. 3 soldiers on Fort Knox who developed a gunner restraint system for the M88, that massive tracked vehicle recovery vehicle. So what I didn't know this, but there is no restraint system inside the 88, inside the M88. So there's a harness. There's a standard harness, but there's no restraint system. And so they based this off of a vehicle rollover that killed a soldier in 2018 in their unit. And so they mounted the restraint system in the 88 is not mounted to anything. So if you're tossed out of the vehicle, you're effectively stuck to the vehicle, stuck to the side of the vehicle, particularly in a rollover. So they identified a problem and pretty simple solution. They mounted a lower retractor kit So a metal plate, on the floor of the 88. It attaches to the gunner restraint system and ensures that you're secure inside the vehicle in the event of a rollover. So certainly not anywhere near as high tech as the other idea of the floor plan predictor, but it's a solution to a problem they've identified, and it's also something that we can implement in a it'd be much easier, a much faster timeline towards implementation.
Now I got the plate. I got that. I did not know that either.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So yeah, they fabricated the plate. We think the plate can be created using 3D printing. Now it also could be welded, but we think it'd be quickly replicated using 3D printing. The harness already existed. They effectively just connected the two devices, and they also created a 14-inch extension for the 50 cal, so that if you're sitting in this thing, you're not up on top of the 88. You can lean into the turret, and so those three things work together: the harness, the 14-inch extension, and the metal plate.
I got the picture up now.
Where'd you get that picture?
From your site, from you.
Okay.
From I think it was the plate cost $42,000 and the bolts cost $855 each. But I have your I got it all over your. I'm pulling information from your social media platforms because I still pay attention to Dragon's Lair even though I'm not part of it. So as you've been talking, I've been posting the images of the presenters of Dragon's Lair. I'm kind of doing the preparing thing now. Make sure you're good to go. Well, one of my questions is that with this right here, who did you have on the panel this time? I mean, you only covered a little bit. Who would you have on the panel this time?
So we had a representative from every service. So somebody from every service who's involved in innovation or research lab. The Marines have a research lab. They sent a major, a Marine Corps major, who's part of the Marine Corps research lab. The Air Force sent 5 people. So the Air Force has AFWorks. I don't know if you've ever been involved with AFWorks or you've seen what they do.
I've seen what they do, but I've not been involved. But I know who they are.
Yeah, so they went all in on this, and in fact, they're gonna help us move out on implementing Justin O'Brien's armor cooling vest. So we had 5 from AFWorks. I mean, shit, the Coast Guard sent 2 people, 2 O5s from the Coast Guard. We had, so we had every service from the Army. We had representatives from Army Futures Command and Army Research Lab. And then, we had Scarlett Swerdlow. Scarlett Swerdlow is Defense Digital Services, which is an office under the Deputy Secretary of Defense at the top of the Pentagon, an office of civilian innovators who came from the tech industry. So, Scarlett is a big name in the Pentagon. She was really impressive, really helpful. And then we had a number of folks from tech industry. We had folks come in from California, Virginia, DC. We had 7 or 8 from the tech. We had 8 total from the tech industry. So, it was a good mix of folks who could help us with the implementation and really help sharpshoot some of these ideas a little bit, which they did in the case of that augmented reality program I was telling you about with the Navy lieutenant commander who did not win. And the next thing is helping us with implementation.
Now, do you think some of these items are going to be able to implement
research?
Do you think? Do you think that the items that have been presented, obviously with the augmented reality ones with the floor plan layout, but the other ones that seem like they could be rapidly fielded pretty quick?
I do. Well, certainly the turret system for the M88. that's something that next week we're gonna develop a glide path on implementation for that one. That's something we could move out with pretty quickly, provided that there's basic approvals from Army Safety, Army G8. That's something we can implement pretty quickly. Sort of like in episode 2 with Trevor Cross's skid steer Bobcat attachment. That's something we moved out on because it's something we could do. It's something we could resource internally. As far as the Acclimate armor cooling vest, there's a series of tests that has to go through that we cannot do in 18th Airborne Corps that we think that AFWorks is going to help us with. So we think, that's something that can get on a glide path to implementation. We don't have the reason that we brought in so many from the tech industry this time. We don't have the authority to develop cooperative research and development agreements, and we also don't have legal authority to do testing for something that's going to go to implementation.
Right.
So, there's some constraints. We also don't have a fund source for a lot of this stuff. So we have some constraints when it comes to implementing the tech-based solutions. So, we've developed the right partners this time.
I got a question in the chats here. Can Space Force play in the Dragon's Lair?
Yeah, where do you see those questions? Only you have them?
No, we see them in the chats, Facebook chats.
Oh, how do I see it? Can I see that or no?
You go on Facebook and you can see it.
Okay, I don't know how to do that. So,
get Alex in there now. Alex, stat. Report.
Yeah, we reached out. I didn't actually, to be totally honest with you, I didn't fully know how to get into the Space Force. I didn't know how to get in contact with them. I tried. We made a couple of attempts. Our office made a couple of attempts, and then we culminated. So yes, they can. We made a broad call for submissions across the U.S. military. The Space Force is within the U.S. military. We would have loved to have had a representative there. We did have 2 submissions from Space Force, but they weren't quite strong or fully developed enough to go forward. But we wanted a Space Force guardian on the panel, and I didn't really know who to ask or how to do that.
We have U.S. Space Force WTF moments, so we could have helped out if you needed.
All right, I should have called you.
Didn't you have SpaceX though on the
episode 2, the one you were on? Yeah.
You had SpaceX on there too.
Yeah, SpaceX has a partnership with the Air Force, not with Space Force, and with Space Command.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to see how it would have been, would it worked out if Space Force, because a lot of their technology is already with SpaceX, so I'm just kind of curious. Not to say that they're not doing anything. I don't want my Space Force admins to flip out, but it's almost like they are the model contracted. You got the Space Force does something, and the next Elon Musk sees, okay, I think we could do that, and then next they're launching, they're already doing their stuff, they're already launching satellites, they're already doing their innovation. So I'm just kind of curious how that would have worked out. I know.
Well, I just figured that there are individual Space Force guardians, soldiers and officers in the Space Force that have ideas that came up with individual ideas. I imagine if this is what I was thinking. My thinking on this matter was, if you volunteered for the Space Force, you probably are a little bit, kind of like me, like you, maybe in some ways, a little bit outside of the traditional, structure or norms or ways of thinking of the military. You're probably a little bit unencumbered by military bureaucracy anyway, which attracted you to the Space Force.
Right.
So you probably have ideas and innovations, and we wanted those ideas and innovations. I think, we just didn't do a good enough job of getting the word out. Now, the other services helped us get the word out. I just don't have any contacts within the Space Force.
Gotcha.
If you can help with that for episode 7.
Yeah, I can tell the Space Force admins to get off their butt and stop Space Forcing for a minute and get the ideas, or you could just give me some of the. Yeah, I'm serious. We can get some of the. We can send the. I think. How do I say this? I think if you give us the information, we can promote it on the Space Force. I can send it. We can send a hate to the Space Force to the Guardians that we have in the WTF Nation. We say, hey, look, post, do what you got to do, because I don't speak their tech when they talk with me or interact with the main page. We're kind of we look at them like it's like the Matrix. You're looking at big brain stuff that you just can't believe that they math stuff so fast. It's unreal. We just discussing jumps and stuff like that, and one of them was kind of made a comment to me about that one video of that kid who had a parachute malfunction on that was tweeted out, and
I haven't seen that video.
They were Task and Purpose put it out, and it was I think it was 173rd. I don't think it was you guys. I think it might have been 173rd. I don't know. All I saw was a parachute malfunction out of a C-17 combat equipment mass tack, and the Space Force guys were literally telling me as they were talking, yeah, this person had this much time to do it in the aircraft, blah 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 blah. Way beyond mathing that I could possibly imagine, and they were just, I'm glad he's okay. And I'm thinking, dude, you just threw so many equations at me. I couldn't even imagine where to start when it came to something like that. So I'll send, once you get the next one going out, let me know and I'll send it to them, and they'll be more than happy to post it up. They're like you said, they don't mind the innovative stuff. They actually do like the putting the aircraft together in flight, or rocket in flight, I guess you would say. They love, I didn't even know that as soon as I said, hey, I'm gonna sit on this one, and they got the SpaceX on there, who, and they were like trying to find out who. I'm like, hey man, I'm just on the panel. I'm just a guy talking. Is that
there was an artillery officer in my Army War College who went through the space program, the space school at Army Space and Missile Defense Command, and upon graduation of Army War College, and he won 3 awards at the graduation of Army War College. Really smart guy. And upon graduation, he transferred into the Space Force.
Right.
And the kind of guy you'd want in the Space Force. The kind of guy you'd want, I guess, in the Army as well. But he really had a keen interest in low Earth orbit, middle Earth orbit, the distances in between, the rate of speed of gravitational pull at each one of these. I mean, he was really impressive.
Yeah, that's pretty much how our Space Force admin.
He lived in that world. Yeah,
exactly. That's somebody just made a comment. Alexander Jackson said it, but is the Space Force guy a jump master? I don't know if somebody's from the Space Force and they're in orbit. We're all legs, right? You can go ahead and just shoot the breeze and say, yeah, dude, you're definitely airborne or spaceborne or whatever you want to call it. So by the way, who won? You did? Did we already cover that? Did we already cover that?
Well, let me just reset here to explain that, because it was a little complicated. So we had 7 innovation. I should have been clear on this. We had 7 innovations and 10 people, right? Because there were multiple presenters for some of these innovations. So there was a voting system. This is the second time we did a voting system. There's 5 criteria by which every panelist voted. The votes came in, and Justin O'Brien won by the raw vote. The raw vote, he won by the raw vote. But I mean, he won by, I think, 2 points, and the most you could get out of that was 104. So he won by 2 points over that group of 3 that developed the M88 restraint system. And the M88 restraint system was 4 points ahead of Christian Reveille, who's the Air Force lieutenant who developed that floor plan predictor. You with me on all that? So
got it.
The panel decided that those 3 would win. It wasn't a tie. They all won. So Lieutenant O'Brien, an Air Force lieutenant, got a meritorious service medal, an Army meritorious service medal, pinned on him by an Army general, a 3-star general who works here in Fort Bragg, and as did these 3 Fort Knox soldiers, and as did the reservist, the reserve lieutenant. So, and I do want to mention here that the M88 gunner harness system was created by the team of 3: Sergeant First Class Keenan Millay, Staff Sergeant Carter Casey, Specialist Jonathan King. They're assigned to the 20th Engineer Brigade on Fort Knox, Kentucky. So it was a cool moment for them. You know, those 3 soldiers presented a meritorious service medal, had their picture taken. They're going to get a 4-day pass and school of their choice. None of them have identified what school they want to go to. And then we had a dinner that night in their honor. Actually, we invited everybody out to the dinner. And then they did a little bit of a media tour. They talked to Todd South from the Army Times. That article was out, I believe, yesterday.
It was.
They spoke with, Patrick Tucker from Defense One, and Corey Dickstein from Stars and Stripes. So, you know, that's kind of cool for these soldiers. And then the Air Force really went all in on Justin O'Brien. The Vice Chief of Staff of the Air Force is going to tweet out. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I guess I already started saying it.
Do it.
Is going to tweet out a congratulatory message to him, that's pretty cool, right?
Right.
And his unit is going to have a ceremony for him, I believe, next week. We mailed off his meritorious service medal and scanned in the medal to his unit. And Air Force Research Lab is going to send a message out tomorrow as well. And, you know, he really was congratulated upon his return. And then, you know, the Army Reserve guy, Christian Releve, he's a great guy, a little odd guy, but he just seemed happy to be there. He was like, you know, he's just he thinks at a very high level. So, you know, I don't think he was he didn't really seem all that impressed with the meritorious service medal. You know, he was happy to get the opportunity to present it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, his intent there was to innovate. You know what I mean? I don't.
His intent to innovate, he did, yeah.
Right. And then I think most. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's always the ones that aren't seeking for the reward or are seeking anything. But hey, I mean, at least I get to put my. And that's one thing when me and you were talking about it when we were working together for the other episodes.
Yeah.
Just the guys were just hungry. They didn't know they were going to get anything. They were just happy to be there to pitch what they're going to pitch. And hey, they were good to go about it. They didn't want to have anything to do with it. But then once you started, you know, oh, okay, cool, thanks. I kind of like the awkwardness because that means that they truly are humble in innovating, you know, to trying to better the services, right. Especially their services too.
Right, yeah.
I want to.
Yeah, that was definitely where he is. You know, he in his mind, you know, he had identified this deficiency, which is, you know, you get GeoInt, you see on a map, you get satellite imagery of a building, and you don't really know the interior floor plan. You just know what the exterior looks like. Well, if you're putting together a strike package, the more information you have, the better you're going to do, right? The more information you have, the better it's going to inform your strike. So he felt that, you know, that's something he could determine based on external structure. You can point to how the interior's been developed based on, you know, kind of geography, on the history of the region, history of the architectural patterns in the region, culture, you know, all these things go into it. And so it's like machine learning. You know, you feed data, it keeps getting smarter. So, you know, it was pretty cool. It was, you know, he was just, I think in his mind, he was just, that's him right there. Is that the thing? Yeah.
Yep.
That's him, Christian Releve. So, you know, in his mind, he just wants to get this idea out and implement it into DoD and wants to help implementation. So
that's awesome. Hey, I know you're limited on time. Hey, real quick, we covered this in the beginning about Sarfris class Alwyn Cash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything you'd like to say about it? I mean, I know you can kind of get an update on the Memorial Garden that they did in Fort Stewart.
Yeah, that was I know for the family. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I know that was. I know that the family has been carrying this legacy and telling this story, and I know when you and I spoke about this has been more than a year ago now.
Yeah,
when you and I spoke about it,
just about.
You know, and we put that story together. You encouraged me to. I don't know if you remember this. You encouraged me to put that story together, and I reached out to the family and some of the soldiers who were in 3rd Infantry Division at the time who were on that patrol. Yeah, I mean, you know, the family's carrying this legacy and this story and telling the story. And, you know, I think it is the story of the American soldier. You know, it's a story really of love, of a leader going back into this burning vehicle while he is burning. His clothes are burning off of him. He's burning alive, and he keeps going back to the vehicle. He went back 6 times to the vehicle. And, you know, what I really cherish in that story is there's one moment there where they return to the forward operating base. Alwyn Cash doesn't realize how much trouble how hurt he is, how much smoke he's inhaled, how burnt he is. And he says he's not going to go on the medevac until everyone else gets on the medevac. He's not even going to leave the fob. So he was true to that. And then, you know, the truth is that, you know, he was the last one to die. You know, he was the last one to die. So, you know, it's almost as if he made sure everybody else got out. You know, all his soldiers got out on that final exit, the final exit. So, you know, I love the story. It's a tragic story, but I love the example that he gave to us, and you know, it's so inspiring. And yeah, we'll see what happens next.
Yeah, we talked about the story, how the arrangement of the 3 individuals being awarded to include Sergeant First Class Alwyn Cash, the Medal of Honor. So we're kind of looking forward to where everyone, of course, is waiting. We know, keeping our ear to the ground to see what happens. And I'm pretty sure, you know, anything that you post out or anything you publish, I know we'll share, follow, you know, and all that as well, because we've been kind of I think a lot of individuals have been kind of connected to this as the story has developed, and I think I spoke to the family today, and it is an awesome. I'm just humbled. You know what I mean? I'm just humbled to hear some of the stories a little bit. And it just, like I said, like you said, that is a story of a true American soldier, of a true soldier to go back and, you know, how are my boys? You know what I mean? That's it's epic. You know, that type of leadership, you just can't even describe it. It's like you said, especially going back while he was, while he was a flame. But
yeah, can I just make one? I'm just, you know, going through my notes on this matter.
Go for it.
If I could just, so October 17th, 2005, nighttime local time there in Iraq was the IED strike that where it really set off the incident. Okay, and then it was days later, you know, the soldiers were evacuated. After his heroic action, he pulled out 6 soldiers, kept going back in. The soldiers were evacuated initially back to Germany, sent back to Germany, and then to Brooke Army Medical in San Antonio, Texas. On October 22nd, 2005, George Alexander died, the first of the soldiers who died, right there in Brooke Army Medical. He was actually the 2,000th American soldier killed in Iraq, in the war in Iraq. 4 days later, Michael Robinson, he was the medic. He died, 28 years old. November 3rd, Darren Dean Howard died. He was 21 years old. He actually enlisted in the Army. He's from Beatrice, small town in Nebraska. He enlisted in the Army on September 10th, 2001. Imagine that.
Wow.
And then after those three died, November 8th, the final soldier from the platoon died. His name is Alwyn Cash. And just as he went back in to get his soldiers out of the burning vehicle, just as he wouldn't get on the medevac flight until all his troops did, he made that final exit after his troops did. So, in a little bit of, I think it's just a little bit of romance from that story, a little bit of poetry that I think
it is. No, it is a true soldiers, a true poetic story of soldiers, and thinking about they're not thinking about themselves, they're thinking about their brothers. You know what I mean? But hey, Joe, thanks for coming on. And we appreciate you hanging out. And like I said, you can of course follow the Dragon. The actual name is the 18th Airborne Corps Innovation Challenge, also known as Dragon's Lair. But also, if you're a filmmaker or something like that, you want to shoot the breeze about Dragon's Con, we can talk about that on the next show. I know there's some other events going on with that, and then of course tune into 18th Airborne Corps' podcast, which I think is it's pretty cool. You guys are getting into some good topics. I like it. It's almost, I don't want to say it's like almost like official WTF Nation stuff, like military type. Yeah. But it's you guys are hitting some of the topics that most units or most organizations, like food security was the big one that kind of stuck with me.
Thanks. Can I just talk it up a little bit?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it's 18th Airborne Corps podcast. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, basically wherever you find podcasts. I know that we have it on YouTube now. And so, yeah, we do have it on YouTube. We just did a show on military food and security, as you identified. It's only 25 minutes or so. And there's a lot of information there for leaders that about resources available, about really the size and scope of this problem and how this problem is manifest. There are a lot of soldiers, I didn't really fully believe it, to be just totally honest with you, Ken. I didn't fully believe that this was a problem, that soldiers were going hungry, that soldiers were struggling to feed their families. It's a problem. It's a problem. We looked into it. We spoke with nonprofits throughout the country. We spoke with the food banks here. It is a problem, but there's things that leaders can do. It's just like anything in leading troops. I'm not really like a leader of troops in that sense, but there's things you can do in terms of providing resources, talking to your soldiers, looking for signs. And if you're a soldier in this holiday season, if you're a family member, a spouse in this holiday season, or any time that's struggling, Military One Source, there's resources there. There's resources on your post. So I'd encourage folks to listen to that episode. And we have some cool episodes coming up. And, I just want to encourage folks to listen.
I got the graphic up there. Just tune in every Tuesday.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, every Tuesday, new episode every Tuesday. It's awesome to see. I like the fact that leaders are engaged in podcasts like this. I know I know there's some banter and joking around about, I'm going to start a podcast. It's just one of those things to where I think that the audience is there for especially your audiences, the 18th Airborne Corps. There might be something that you could, I would tell leaders, I kind of like point the direction too. It's like, somebody made a comment to me, just joking around, of course. Is WTF Nation trying to be like 18th Airborne, or is trying to be like we're joint headquarters or something like that? So I think it's kind of funny. It's not the fact that you guys are trying to be like anybody else. You guys are actually utilizing your own innovation by posting information that most soldiers don't listen to other than a podcast, or don't listen to. Books, newspapers, I'm not saying nobody reads them, but I'm just saying that real quick information, soldiers on the move or something like that. I get that feedback. When I did an LPD with a reserve unit, with a reserve PSYOP unit over the weekend, And they said that's how they said that's how they listen to their news. They'll get their news through a podcast or a real quick tweet or something like that. And if there's a link, they'll look at it and stuff like that. So I think it's awesome. That's just me.
Well, for
I'm
us,
biased.
I don't want to hold you up here in this, Ken, but for us, it's kind of you and I, your organization, my organization, at heart want the same thing. I mean, you're about the soldiers. What's WTF Moments? What was that created for? It was in some ways created to give a voice to soldiers and to call out abusive leadership.
Correct.
So are you partnered with 18th? Are we trying to be partnered with you? We're not. I don't know if we're trying to partner, but for us, it's about getting information out in the channels where soldiers are receiving information. And so, that's why you and I have had this bond. Also, we've had a real friendship in other ways, and a real personal bond. And I value your friendship. But I think for us, it's just about getting the information. Soldiers do listen to podcasts.
Exactly.
Hopefully, they listen to ours.
Exactly. Yeah, so, and some of it too, though, is
videos.
Yeah, I mean, some of it too, though, Joe, is there's nothing wrong with being partnership or in coordinated with I see it as coordinating efforts. We have it's almost like lines of effort. We have it's almost like another formation on the overlay. You know what I mean? You have your own. Everyone's going about the comment you said about our personal relationship.
Okay. Well, you want me to be real or?
No. I'm just saying. No. We are real, man. We've always been real. Sometimes I forget we're on air because you and I talk the way we talk. You know what I mean? We've had a couple of edits of some of our products because of that, because we forgot that we were on air. And no. Wait, it's got to sound like this. But no, there's nothing wrong with having coordinated efforts, with having coordinated lines between two different organizations. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as the mission's still the same. You know what I mean? So
that's right.
But. Anyways, Joe, thanks again.
And just one last thing. My parting thing is
go for it.
One thing I value about you is that you're always true to yourself, and that's an important trait. If you're in communications, if you're leading, if you're a soldier, you always got to be true to yourself.
Exactly. Yep. Joe, thanks a lot.
All right, bro.
And I appreciate it. Hang on for a sec so we can handle some admin stuff afterwards. Guys, make sure you check out the next one, and I'm pretty sure you'll see some of the shares, and I'm sure Joe will be coming back. But other than that, thank you guys for hanging out, and we'll be right back. So, shots.
Looking up and fading out, cirrus shapes I found blow me away. Van Allen right around, pushing through. Skin is brown, nature has us trapped in fear, so I get lost in sound. I wonder if you'll ever know why I am the way I am. I've been thinking a lot about time and space surrounding. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? I've been thinking Since I made my way out west, since I've been tied to fate, here don't hold a candle to that home I left behind. I need that southern comfort to ease my troubled mind. Yeah. I hear people saying you can't never go back home. I don't think they've ever lived this life I've come to know. But this'll be my resting place, no matter where I roam. So if I die before I get there, won't you send my body home? So take me back, baby, where the child in me lives and breathes. Take me back, mama, way out past New Orleans, where it's dark at night except the pale moonlight. The swamp plays a perfect scene. So take me back, mama, way out past New Orleans. Well, it's been 10 long years since your sun has shined my face. Since I made my way out west, since I've been tied to fate. Here don't hold a candle to that home I left behind. I need that southern comfort to ease my worried mind. So take me back, baby, where the child in me lives and breathes. Take me back, mama, way out past New Orleans, where it's dark at night except the pale moonlight. The swamp plays a perfect scene. So take me back, honey, way out past New Orleans. Where the southern pride, it runs deep inside. So don't you tread on me, motherfucker. Take me back, baby, where the child in me lives and breathes. Take me back, mama, way out past New Orleans, where it's dark at night except the pale moonlight. Swamp plays a perfect scene. So take me back, honey, way out past New Orleans.
If that's really a thing, and I get authorized to do it once, it's pretty much gonna be me sitting there talking shit, like, constantly.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
You want some ganja? I'm sorry, I should be saying that. Sergeant's time. Welcome back. Man, what an interview. Joe Buccino, 18th Airborne Corps. Thanks again so much for hanging out. And of course, appreciate the staff. Again, getting all this set up real quick. Kind of short notice too, but we wanted to talk about Dragon's Lair, and he wanted to come on. So of course, obviously accommodating to that with the great relationship that we have with 18th Airborne Corps and all their units. But anyways, I guess Spanky had to take off. So I'm gonna go ahead and conduct some housekeeping, and we'll see what's up. We got guests coming up again. Did y'all participate in the giveaway with the CQ? Some of the most awesome some of the awesome stuff he's been giving out. He even allowed us to play along too, so that was pretty cool. But anyways, don't forget we have a show every night except for Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Monday edition, of course, was myself and Flash. Flash is going to be he's been really busy, and give him all the time he needs to do his stuff. And Tuesday we have Pop Culture Warrior with CQ and Radar, and then we have of course Wednesday is the day off, and then we have Sergeant's Time with myself and Spanky today, and then of course tomorrow is Friday Night Freedom with Kaz and Pookie. There's a lot of great news coming out. We've been kind of seeing what's been in the chats, and I tell you what, it's pretty cool. Some of the stuff that's been happening, breaking over the week, has been pretty cool. Like Juicy Smoulier and all of this stuff. So I'm pretty sure Kaz is going to talk about that too. What else do we got going on? Do we have? I think he's got. Man, CQ's got so many guests. He's got them lined up. He's got them all the way out to the 20th. Let's see. Let's see what we have. I got so many emails and stuff with cut sheets. But yeah, he's busy all the way out to the 20th. I'm on my ass right now. I'll be honest with you. I thought I had it up ready to go, and I didn't. So failure to prepare, I guess. Go ahead and provide me the counseling statement. Kaz says you lost 3 times, but you still had fun. It was fun. I was listening in on it, and it was pretty good stuff. I do like the innovated, the innovated. It was like the Wheel of Fortune. I like Wheel of Fortune. So, anyways, so the 14th of December, Mike Jammon's going to be on to talk with CQ. Writer and producer Mike Jammon's going to be on to talk about his involvement and produced in Tacoma FD, King of the Hill, and Brickleberry, and Beavis and Butthead. That's going to be awesome. So he's got a show all the way out, and man, he's got all the way out to the 20th. What's up with that? CQ, why are you working on Christmas holidays? Hey, the 20th is going to be Christmas. What Christmas is that week? Wait, my calendar's on. Again, I'm messed up tonight. And no, it's not the Tecate. It's only one. I still haven't finished it yet because I've been busy blabbing with everybody. I'm having a lot of stuff, but yeah, today is definitely Tecate Day. So on the 20th, 21st, he's got another guest. And then, of course, we'll be taking a break through a holiday until the first week of January, which would be like the 3rd. So, again, getting close to that time. More guests coming out, more guests getting booked on Sergeant's Time and on the Monday edition as well. Or you might have a surprise like we did before. Make sure you share, like, and follow all of the social media platforms. We're broadcasting live right now on Twitch. So if you're a gamer, we had one person in there. And, of course, we have YouTube. We have 2 Facebook pages and the Twitter edge. So there you go. Make sure you tune in every night. Again, we'll go ahead and post that video, which I thought that was freaking funny as hell. Which is the Go Army Beat Navy from the 4th PSYOP group. And then, of course, we will do our outro. So, again, thank you guys so much for hanging out. And, shots.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is